Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with a very good new recording of the Shostakovich Piano Concertos featuring pianist Simon Trpčeski. And let's see, who's conducting? Oh, Cristian Măcelaru. He's very good. With the Janácek Philharmonic of Ostrava on LINN, because they're an orchestra you can usually get on the cheap. So lots of people make recordings with them, and they've become quite efficient at it, actually. And LINN always offers extremely fine sonics, as they do here. And the coupling I really like. I mean, the coupling sort of makes the disc. It's the Piano Trio No. 2, that incredibly passionate, devastating, tragic piece of, chamber music. It's a hunk of raw, bleeding red meat. It's amazing, an amazing piece of music. You've really got to hear it if you don't know it. And it's very passionately performed here. It's beautiful. So this is a good disc. But let's talk more generally, I think, about what's going on. The Shostakovich Piano Concertos have been extremely lucky on disc, starting with the composer himself, who did decent, if not fabulous, recordings of both of them, with André Cluitin's for EMI, but then his grandson did them on Chandos, and the modern recordings that are really terrific, I think, of both. I mean, they're wonderful individual recordings of either one or two. But if you want to have them together, you get Marc-André Hamelin on Hyperion, Boris Giltberg on Naxos, and, what's her name? I forget how to even pronounce it. Igoshina. Isn't that her name? I have it here. Wait a minute, because I knew I would have a problem. Valentina Igoshina on CPO. There she is. Yes, those are all fantastic, and they're variously coupled, and you get both concertos. And the two concertos are quite different from each other. The first concerto is an early work, a very early work, and it's just written for piano, trumpet, and strings, with a wonderful solo part for the trumpeter as well. And it's in that acerbic, sort of wiry, brash early style, full of crazy cafe music, circus music, and alternating with wisps of Beethoven and darkness. I mean, Shostakovich always had that vein of tragedy in him, which is beautifully expressed in his slower music. And it's a wonderful piece, somewhat lighthearted in its vast moments and strikingly dark in its not so fast moments. It offers a wonderful opportunity for both the soloist and the trumpeter. The trumpeter in this performance is Andrei Kavalinsky, who's very, very adroit, knows what he's doing, and that's perfectly fine. Now, the second concerto, which Shostakovich tended to deprecate, calling it junk or trash, is a very easy listening piece of music. He wrote it for his son to perform, Maxim, and it's very popular. Of course, it's popular because it has very easy to listen to tunes, and that, of course, annoyed Shostakovich. Composers are all the same. When they write something which they consider to be deep and dark and serious and heavy duty, and nobody much cares, they get very annoyed, and then they toss something off, and it becomes just a smash hit, like Sibelius's Valse Triste and things like that. And then they spend the rest of their lives talking about how much they hate this piece because it's become so popular at the expense of their bigger, more serious, more difficult works. And I understand where they're coming from. But on the other hand, Shostakovich was so talented in so many different media. I mean, he wrote tons of film music. He wrote his ballets. He wrote operas. He wrote, chamber works and all that. And most of his music managed to somehow straddle the line between needing to have a certain populist element to appease the Soviet authorities and being true to himself. He found a way. He really did. And so those pieces which are avowedly socialist realist, he won't, at least privately, supposedly, from what has been reported, which also has its own issues, he tended to denigrate those pieces, including the second piano concerto. But I don't think it needs to be, because it's just a superbly crafted, beautifully written, tons of fun kind of piano concerto. It really is. I mean, it deserves all of the popularity that it has earned. And this is a charming, lively, witty performance. I mean, it's beautifully played, very well conducted, nicely recorded. There is nothing here not to love. And as I said, the second piano trio is definitely a major bonus. If you're going to be looking for collections that give you both piano concertos plus something else really worth hearing, this is a terrific disc for that reason. So, is it the ultimate in Shostakovich piano concertos? Well, I don't think it's better than those ones that I mentioned, Egoshina and Giltberg and Hamelin and some of those others. But it's just about as good. It really is. So if you collect these things, and you wind up with this, you're going to be in really good shape. And that's the thing that matters most of all, I think. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me, and take care. If I can find a way to turn this off. There we go. Let's try that again. Take care. There we go.